Good morning students. Today we will see about the estrogens and related drugs. pH 1.36. Now coming to the classification of the estrogens. Estrogens are divided into natural and synthetic. Natural are the estradiol, estrone and the estriol. Synthetic are the divided into steroidal and non-steroidal. Steroidal are the ethinyl estradiol, mestranol. Non-steroidal is the diethylstilbestrol and the dinestrol. Now what are estrogens? Estrogens are hormones and they are a family of related molecules that stimulate the development and maintenance of female sexual characteristics and reproduction. The most prevalent forms of human estrogen is the estradiol, estrone. Both are produced from the ovaries. Although estrone is also made in the adrenal glands and other organs like the testes, adipose tissues, liver. Now coming to the chemistry of the estrogens. Natural estrogens are divided into are the 17 beta estradiol, estrone and estriol. Synthetic estrogens are divided into steroidal and non-steroidal. Steroidal is the ethinyl estradiol, mestranol. Non-steroidal is the diethylstilbestrol, dinestrol. Phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens are the flavonoids which are present in the soybean. So what are phytoestrogens? They are the estrogens produced in the plant, estrogens present in the plants like the red clove, soybeans, flax seeds. These are the flavonoids, isoflavones. So phytoestrogens are the estrogens, non-steroidal estrogens which are present in the plants like the flax seeds, soybeans and the red clove. They are the flavonoids, isoflavones, lignans. They have estrogenic activity. In the intestine they get converted to the estrogens, but they have weak estrogenic activity. They are non-steroidal. They are promoted for the use in postmenopausal women to reduce the postmenopausal symptoms like vasomotor symptoms, but they don't have good efficacy, so they should not be used. Coming to the synthetic estrogens, these are the orally active compounds. These are the steroidal synthetic estrogens. They are the 17 alpha ethinyl estradiol and the mestranol. Non-steroidal are the dinestrol and the diethylstilbestrol. Now what is the difference between the synthetic and the natural estrogens? Natural estrogens have poor biology. They are steroidal compound. They get destroyed by the liver on oral administration, by the enzymes of the liver and by the enzymes of the gastrointestinal tract. That's why they have and moreover they have short duration of action. That's why they are not recommended orally, natural estrogens. So to overcome these drawbacks, synthetic estrogens are developed which have long half life, long duration of action, and they are resistant to the enzymes of the liver and the gastrointestinal tract. Coming to the types of estrogens, there are three major types of estrogens which are naturally occurring, and these are the steroids. These are the estradiol, estriol and the estrone. During the reproductive age, that is from menarche to menopause, mainly 17 beta estradiol is the primary estrogen which is produced by the ovaries. In postmenopausal woman, estrone is produced. More estrone is present than the estradiol. Estradiol is produced from the testosterone and estrone is produced from the androstenedione. Estrone is weaker than the estradiol. Now production of the estrogens by the ovarian follicle. You can see in this diagram that synthesis of estrogens takes place under the influence of the gonadotrophins, that is the LH and the FSH, luteinizing hormone and the follicle stimulating hormone secreted by the anterior pituitary. Now LH, which is released from the anterior pituitary, acts on the stimulate the thecal cells in the ovarian follicle. On stimulation, the thecal cells convert the cholesterol into the androgen, that is the testosterone. Androgen diffuses from the thecal cells into the adjacent granulosa cells. FSH acts on the stimulates the granulosa cells to convert stimulates the granulosa cells in the ovarian follicle. On stimulation, the granulosa cells convert androgen into the estrogen by aromatization. So, this reaction takes place in the granulosa cells of the follicle. By aromatization, under the influence of FSH, the androgen is converted into the estrogen. Part of the estrogen which is synthesized is secreted into the blood where it exerts systemic actions, while part of the estrogen remains within the follicle and contributes to the antral formation. Local estrogen along with the FSH stimulates proliferation of the granulosa cells. Now, here you can see that during the reproductive years, most of the estradiol is synthesized by the granulosa cells of the ovaries by aromatization of the androstenedione to the estrone and by conversion of estrone to the estradiol by 17 beta hydroxysteroid reductase. Smaller amount of estradiol are also produced by the adrenal cortex, and in the men they are produced in the testes. Now, the steps in the synthesis of the estrogens are that the parent molecule is cholesterol. So, from cholesterol the pregnenolone is synthesized. So the parent molecule is cholesterol. From cholesterol pregnenolone is synthesized. From pregnenolone dehydroepiandrosterone is synthesized. So before dehydroepiandrosterone, progesterone is synthesized. Pregnenolone gets converted to the progesterone. And also the 17 alpha hydroxy pregnenolone. So pregnenolone gets converted to the 17 alpha hydroxy pregnenolone, and that gets converted into the dehydroepiandrosterone. Dehydroepiandrosterone is produced. Dehydroepiandrosterone is converted to the androstenedione, and this converts to the testosterone. So testosterone is produced, which is an androgen, and this testosterone by aromatization gets converted into the estradiol. This reaction takes place in the granulosa cells of the ovaries. It also occurs in other tissues. Other tissues also secrete the estrogens. Once the estradiol is synthesized, it gets converted into the estrone and the estradiol. Estrone is also directly synthesized from the androstenedione by aromatization. Androstenedione gets converted to the estrone and testosterone gets converted to the estradiol. Estradiol is interconverted to the estrone and estrone into the estradiol. So all these steps are under aromatization reaction takes place under the influence of the FSH, that is the follicle stimulating hormone, which stimulates the granulosa cells to synthesize the estrogens. In the men, there are small amount of estrogens are synthesized by the adrenal cortex and also in the testes. Also they are produced in the brain and the arterial walls. After menopause, the adipose tissues mainly secrete the estrogens, and the mainly estrogen which is synthesized is the estrone. So this in postmenopausal woman, adipose tissues and the adrenal cortex, they secrete the estrogens. Now here this slide shows the synthesis of the estrogens. The estrogens are synthesized in the ovaries from the cholesterol via the pregnenolone. Pregnenolone is precursor to the dehydroepiandrosterone and the progesterone. So this pregnenolone is the main precursor, which converts the which is the precursor to the dehydroepiandrosterone. So dehydroepiandrosterone is a DHEA, which is shown in the full short form, that is dehydroepiandrosterone. This dehydroepiandrosterone is converted to the androstenedione and to the testosterone, and testosterone gets converted to the estradiol by aromatization. Pregnenolone is also converted to the progesterone and 17 alpha hydroxy pregnenolone. 17 alpha hydroxy pregnenolone is converted to the dehydroepiandrosterone. 17 alpha hydroxy pregnenolone is converted to the 17 alpha hydroxy progesterone, which is converted to the androstenedione, and then finally the testosterone is synthesized. Progesterone is also converted to the cortisol in the adrenal glands. Adrenals also convert the androstenedione and to testosterone or to estrone. Testosterone is subsequently converted to the estradiol via aromatase enzyme. Pregnenolone is significant in these pathways in that it is a precursor to the progesterone, estrogen and cortisol. Now here you can see the synthesis of the estrogen mainly takes place in the ovary by the synthesis of the androstenedione from cholesterol. Androstenedione is then converted to the estrone or the estradiol either immediately or through testosterone. This process is catalyzed by the enzyme aromatase. So androstenedione is converted to the estrone or estradiol either immediately or through the testosterone, and aromatase enzyme plays an important role. So in this reaction you can see that androstenedione is converted to the estrone by aromatase enzyme, androstenedione is converted to testosterone, testosterone gets converted to the estradiol by the aromatase enzyme, and estradiol and estrone are interchangeable, interconvertible. Final metabolite is the estriol. So here you can see that in premenopausal woman, major source is the ovary. All the three types of estrogens are synthesized, that is natural estrogen, that is the estradiol, estrone and the estriol. In pregnancy, the large amount of estrogen is synthesized by the fetoplacental unit. In menopausal woman, mainly the adipose tissues synthesize the estrone. Now here you can see that the estrone is produced primarily from the androstenedione originating from the gonads or the adrenal cortex. In premenopausal woman, more than 50% of the estrone is secreted by the ovaries. More than 50% of the estrone is secreted by the ovaries in premenopausal woman. In prepubertal children, in men, and in postmenopausal woman, mainly the peripheral tissues they synthesize the estrogens, and they are in men testes, then adipose tissues, in postmenopausal women adipose tissue, adrenal glands, they synthesize the estrogen. Interconversion of estrone to the estradiol takes place, and this occurs in the peripheral tissues. Now here you can see that estrol is produced almost exclusively during the pregnancy. So during pregnancy estrol is produced. Estrol is the major estrogen produced in the normal human fetus. So in the normal human fetus, estrol is the major estrogen. During pregnancy, the production of the estrol depends on the intact maternal placental fetal unit. Fetal placental production of the estrol leads to the progressive rise in maternal circulating levels of estrogen, reaching a late gestational peak several orders of magnitude greater than the non-pregnant level. So during pregnancy, the major estrogen is the estriol, and this is produced in the normal human fetus. During pregnancy, the production of the estrol depends on intact maternal placental fetal unit. So during due to production of the estrol by the fetal placental unit, there is a large amount of estrol which is synthesized, and it goes on rising till the late gestation, and it is very much higher than the non-pregnant level. Now coming to the menstrual cycle, the hypothalamus releases the gonadotropin releasing hormone. Gonadotropin releasing hormone stimulates anterior pituitary to release FSH and LH. FSH and LH stimulate development of the follicles. Follicles secrete the estrogen. 2 follicles are formed per month. Increase in the growth of the follicle releases more estrogen. Estrogen mainly has 3 effects: promotes further growth of the follicle and oocyte development, stimulates the growth of the endometrium in the uterus, that is proliferative phase, and stimulates increase in FSH and LH. This is positive feedback mechanism and leads to the LH surge also. Now how do the hormonal contraceptives work? So before going to the how the hormonal contraceptive work, let us see the regulation of the secretion. Hypothalamus secretes gonadotropin releasing hormone, which acts on the anterior pituitary to release FSH and LH. FSH and LH act on the ovaries and cause release of the estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone, they have negative feedback mechanism which act on the anterior pituitary and hypothalamus to decrease the release of the GnRH and the FSH and LH respectively. So here when the estrogen and progesterone are given in the hormonal contraceptive, they have a negative feedback mechanism, and when their levels increase, they inhibit the synthesis of the GnRH secretion from the hypothalamus, as well as inhibit secretion of the release of the LH and FSH from the anterior pituitary, and this will prevent the ovulation. So in this way the hormonal contraceptives work. Progesterone also thickens cervical mucus to prevent passage of sperms into the uterus and changes the uterine lining to inhibit the implantation. Now coming to the levels of estrogen. Estrogen levels are the highest immediately just before ovulation because of the follicles which are releasing the estrogen. Estrogen is required for the LH surge, positive feedback mechanism of estrogen to cause LH surge. High level of estrogen causes LH surge as well as FSH to be released, which finalizes follicular maturation and ovulation occurs. This marks the end of the follicular phase and the luteal phase begins. During the luteal phase, the estrogen levels are also high. Corpus luteum goes on secreting estrogen and progesterone together. Combination of estrogen and progesterone exhibits negative feedback mechanism on the hypothalamus, preventing further LH and FSH secretion and thus preventing further ovulation of a second egg. So these are the estrogen levels during the menstrual cycle. Now coming to the estrogen receptors. Now estrogen is synthesized and it is released into the blood, and it will act on the target tissues. Now what does estrogen do? It binds to its receptors. So estrogens are a group of steroid hormones, and they behave just like steroid hormones. So the steroid hormone receptors are located inside the cell, not on the cell membrane or the cytoplasm, but they are located in the nucleus. They are the nuclear receptors. There are two types of estrogenic receptors, estrogen receptor alpha and beta. Estrogen receptor alpha mediates female hormone functions. They are located on the endometrium, breast, ovaries, hypothalamus. Estrogen receptor beta mediates other hormonal function, and they are distributed on the brain, bone, heart, lungs, kidney, bladder, intestinal mucosa, endothelial cells. So you can see here the distribution of the estrogen receptor alpha and the beta. On the breast, both alpha and beta are present. On the bones, estrogen receptor alpha and beta are present. So estrogen receptor alpha, they are present in the female genital tract, ovarian theca cells, breast, hypothalamus, endothelial cells and vascular smooth muscles. Estrogen receptor beta present in the bone, brain, prostate and ovarian granulosa cells. So this is the distribution of the estrogen receptors, that is alpha is present on the genital tract, female genital tract, ovarian thecal cells, breast, hypothalamus, endothelial cells and vascular smooth muscle cells. Estrogen receptor beta, they are present in the bones, brain, prostate and ovarian granulosa cells. Now coming to the action or mechanism of action, molecular mechanism of steroid hormone receptor. Now steroid hormone receptor, here we are seeing about the estrogen. It enters the cell through the cell membrane, diffuses from the cytoplasm, enters the nucleus. It binds on the nuclear receptors, that is the estrogen receptors, estrogen receptor alpha or beta, which are located on the nucleus of the target cells. So there is a, once the ligand binds or the hormone binds to its receptor, there is a conformational change in the hormone receptor complex. Under this complex undergoes a conformational change and it binds to the estrogen responsive element of the target gene. So there is a estrogen responsive element, also known as ERE, on the target gene, where it brings about the once it binds, once the hormone receptor complex binds to the estrogen response element of the target gene, it brings about gene transcription. It brings about the required gene transcription, and there is a synthesis of the messenger RNA. So gene transcription takes place and the new or specific messenger RNA is synthesized, which comes out of the nucleus, enters the cytoplasm and directs synthesis of the new proteins which are required for the action. So in this way, after synthesis of the new proteins, the actions of the estrogens will take place. and so time is required for the action of the onset of action of the steroid hormone, because the new proteins synthesis takes time. So this slide shows the estrogen receptors which are located on the nucleus of the target cells. So the estrogen target cells are the breast, uterine lining, liver, bones. Non-target cell do not contain estrogen receptor. So estrogen comes and binds to the estrogen receptor which is located on the nucleus, and this hormone receptor complex comes and undergoes conformational change and binds to the estrogen response element of the target genes and brings about gene transcription. And then there is a synthesis of the messenger RNA, and then it will direct the synthesis of the new proteins which are required for the action of the estrogens. So here you can see the estrogen receptors. Estrogen acts as a signaling molecule by interacting with the specific target cells, and this target cell includes the tissues in the breast, uterus, brain, heart, liver and bones. The target cells contain the receptors, that is a binding site for the estrogen, and there are two types of estrogen receptor, alpha and beta. So we have seen the molecular mechanism of the estrogen action, how the estrogen receptor comes and binds to its estrogen receptor. Hormone receptor complex, once it is formed, it undergoes a conformational change. It binds to the estrogen response element of the target gene, and then it brings about a gene transcription. Gene transcription leads to synthesis of the messenger RNA, and messenger RNA carries out various synthesis of the required proteins. So protein synthesis takes place, and then these proteins will produce the required actions or the specific actions which are of the estrogens. Now coming to the physiological functions of the estrogens. Estrogens are present in high level in the reproductive age, during the reproductive age, from the menarche to the menopause, and they are responsible for the development of the female secondary sex characteristics like the development of the breast. So they bring about the help in the growth and the development of the sex organs in the female. They stimulate the development of the secondary sex characters. They are responsible for the if you see on the endometrium, they cause the proliferative phase of the endometrium. So they are responsible for the proliferation of the endometrium, or proliferative phase of the endometrium takes place under the influence of the estrogen. They have a negative feedback action on the pituitary. They lead to the development of the breast. Mainly the growth of the ducts and the stroma in the breast is under the influence of the estrogen. Then they regulate the menstrual cycle. They promote the rhythmic contraction of the fallopian tubes and the myometrium. The cervical secretions become thin and watery and alkaline, and which facilitate the entry of the sperms. In the males, they cause maturation of the sperm and healthy libido. So they promote the formation of the female secondary sex characteristics. They stimulate endometrial growth. They increase uterine growth. They maintain the development of the skin, reduce bone resorption, increase bone formation. So action on the bones, they have metabolic actions on the lot of metabolic actions. If you see on the action on the bone, estrogen decreases the rate of resorption of the bone by inhibiting the activity of the osteoclast. So they decrease the bone resorption by inhibiting the activity of the osteoclast, and they stimulate the osteoblastic activity. So estrogen directly regulate the osteoblastic activity and bring about their differentiation. They increase the osteoblasts and osteocyte survival by inhibiting their apoptosis. So the apoptosis of osteoblast is inhibited. They increase the osteoclastic apoptosis. The major effect is decrease in the number and the activity of the osteoclast. So the major effect of estrogen on the bones is that they decrease the activity and the number of the osteoclast and prevent the differentiation of the osteoclastic precursors into the osteoclast. increases osteoclastic apoptosis, and this results in prevention of the bone resorption by the osteoclast. So, what is the function of the osteoclast? That is to cause bone resorption. So, estrogen directly decreases the number and activity of the osteoclast. It increases osteoclastic apoptosis, and thus these all actions will lead to the prevention of the bone resorption by the osteoclast. So, it will prevent the bone resorption by the osteoclast. So, this is an important action on the bone, and it stimulates the directly regulates the osteoblastic activity and causes bone synthesis and bone formation, brings about the differentiation of the osteoblast, inhibits apoptosis of the osteoblast. So, this is a important action. Then they also lead to the growth of the